will be Spica's first unique pick for the season on that play. We know him for, as you said, the Sej and the Jarvan. He's looking at the other champion he plays across on the Rift now. Second pick up here for Clutch. They are using all the time they have for each one of these selections, and it is going to be the Tahm Kench locked in.
All right, they really value that Devour, trying to keep Cody Sun safe. And since the Ezreal's not there, they're still gonna pick up a possible save here. I mean, both Xayah and Kaisa, a very, very high priority marksman down here. Looks like TSM might opt for the Kaisa side of it.
I wonder if they go back to Sivir. You know, Sivir had been really big for them throughout the regular season. I do think that there's a possibility to go back to something like that, you know, play it more just for the wave clear rather than the additional range. I do think that would also make sense alongside the Tahm Kench. The obvious extra pick there is the Xayah if they wanted to go Xayah TK. But that being said, I feel like Sivir may fit better.
I like it. I remember the game right after Cody Sun and the team won that, where he just played Sivir and over, and Ably asked him, why not more Sivir? And he's like, I just didn't want to play it anymore. I played so much Sivir, so man, we know he's good on it, and maybe he will lock it in this game. That Corki finally gets through for Bjergsen, and that is a huge pickup for the man in the mid lane.
I think this is actually super smart. You pick your mid laner here, now you're forcing Clutch to choose. Do you want a priority marksman, or do you want to counterpick the mid lane? Because if you don't counterpick mid lane right here, TSM can ban some of the tougher matchups out to try to protect that Corki. And if you do go for your mid lane matchup, which it looks like they are going to go for, then now you're going to have Cody Sun getting pushed down further and further, and maybe he's not going to have a good pairing alongside that Tahm Kench, because you can ban out things like this Xayah, you can ban out things like that Sivir, and then the question is, where does he go?
Caitlyn's always an option as well for Cody. See if classic Tristana makes another appearance. Definitely has a few more in the bag.
Yeah.
High priority there, though, on the Irelia. It has been so big for both Damonte and Huni. Key part about getting that in the first round, and I really do agree with Clutch's choice here, not to pick the marksman and grabbing this flex pick Irelia for themselves. It's going to provide a lot of extra pressure.
Cody Sun does have a Jinx under his belt. Jinx Tahm Kench, a great bottom lane to have, as well as set people up in that Jarvan Cataclysm, just shooting fish in a barrel. Bans are coming from both sides still, though.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Xayah banned out, so they've already banned out the Sivir. TSM's certainly going to target that. And really, you know, most of his most played by far are going to be taken away. You know, you look at Xayah 12 plays, Sivir 10 plays, you know, Kaisa 7 plays coming into today,
and then
beyond that, it's down to like 2 for Lucian. It is his next most played with the Ezreal banned out. So, you know, that does become, you know, falling down pretty far in your champion pool. I don't think you want to go Lucian because that's not super aggressive. You could look to something like the Caitlyn, but generally Caitlyn wants to be paired with someone else who can help to push and attack the turrets. Jinx, yes, that's an option, but certainly not a tremendous amount of safety. Can be vulnerable to something like the Skarner. So going to be interested to see where they decide to actually go here. But Xayah is left up, so TSM not worried about it, and I think that's the obvious choice now for Clutch. You just grab Xayah here and you save your solo for last.
Still have that Qiyana, but that's no fun against the ranged in the mid lane to start things off, even if you can get out of lane there. Looking around, 4 seconds left, not a pick, just a hover, and they're gonna wait on this one. We'll see if it does get locked in, and it is getting locked in! The kog'maw for Cody Sun coming through, a unique pick on the season. As Azael was just saying his picks, we did get a Zed on him, but not a kog'maw.
And a big part about kog'maw too is he's got a splash of AP damage in there. So it can help to balance out if Clutch want to run more AD everywhere. They've already got Jarvan and Irelia locked in. And this is going to be a big, big source.
I also kind of like the read. When you're looking at TSM's comp, you're saying, all right, Corki, Kaisa, you want to fight front to back, right? And if they're going to fight front to back, well, guess what's great into that? kog'maw can slay frontliners. A lot of percentage HP damage with the W, with Blade of Rune King, built up early on. That can be very powerful. You have some protection here from the Tahm Kench. It's feeling like that is the kind of plan here for TSM, unless they grab a dive buddy, you know, to put up on Broken Blade, but it will be the Aatrox. So as long as Cody Sun is actually kept safe, it's this 3-man front line that Cody Sun can build Hurricane into, can fire out onto, and Qiyana last pick. Wow.
Awesome, I love it. That's still going to be a tough lane unless they try to switch it around and maybe he tries to fight Broken Blade on that top side. Thought even a Zillion may be cool, as we saw him at a hover previously for what could go in here, but we don't see Damonte playing any of that for this comp. Would have been fun, but we have him locked in. 40 seconds, gents. How you feeling about the composition?
Yeah, I am actually very, very excited. I was expecting some sort of AD threat, like Qiyana coming in since they have the kog'maw there to bounce it out, and they have their explosive champions that they're looking for. These are the champions people associated with the success of Clutch Gaming. They're gonna live and die by it. Meanwhile, TSM, they locked in that Aatrox again for Broken Blade. They got Bjergsen, the Corki this time around. Keep your eyes on the packages. Keep your eyes on Spica here on a new champion. In game number 5, must win, go to Worlds game. Can he make it happen? The key polls.
And we've got to watch the top lane so closely because last time we saw this matchup, Jarvan went up there early and it was a disaster for TSM. Broken Blade got pushed so far out of there and really the game spiraled out of control from that.
Junglers are definitely going to have a highlight on them. Skarner is such a key champion in trying to deal with the solo laners of Clutch Gaming as well. That ultimate, such a hard thing for Qiyana or Irelia to deal with. And we shall see who rises to the top when it matters.
This is the occasion. You're right, Kobe. Who will rise to it? TSM or Clutch Gaming with Worlds on the line. We are into game 5.
It's such an interesting set of compositions here. You know, TSM wants to do very, very standard stuff. It's front to back. You have 3 frontliners. You have the 2 marksmen doing damage. Clutch has 3 dive buddies, and then kog'maw who wants to sit back with the Tahm Kench and stay safe.
And let's hear from ThinkCard about how they feel about that kog'maw pick for Mavli as well.
Thanks, guys. I am here with ThinkCard. Wanted to pick your brain on the kog'maw pick because, again, Clutch Gaming keeps surprising us.
Yeah, so kog'maw is generally a good matchup into the... please live, Huni. Nice. So kog'maw is a good matchup into the Kaisa with the Vamp Scepter. Once you get it, you do get perma lane prio, and you can kind of stat check the Kaisa the whole game. But at this point, it's all up to the players. Whichever team plays best is obviously going to win the series.
And we're seeing Spica move off of the Sejuani and first picking that Skarner. So do you think that's going to change up the game at all?
We don't think he's too comfortable on it, but they obviously took it to take it away from us. So I don't expect him to have the most impact on it. But once again, like, it clears pretty fast. It's a pretty easy to use champion. So I don't expect him to be terrible on it.
Well, wishing you the best of luck in this final match. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and it is easy to just press R on an Irelia or Qiyana in a team fight and deny a lot of what these assassins want to do. My personal favorite part about kog'maw is that it is a stand and fight AD carry. Doesn't have a lot of escape tools other than those that the teammates will bring. So oftentimes we'll just pop the W, turn on, and try and auto you back to death. See if he can actually do it. That's what ThinkCard's talking about with the stat check there.
I've got to say, I'm a fan of the mind games from Broken Blade. He steps into the bush and starts taunting, so Huni will step into the bush and start taunting into the invade. That is hilarious.
That's what you need here in game 5. You can't go in super serial. You do have to be still a little bit relaxed so you can have your game face on when it comes time.
And we are having a mix-up as we have Lira going to invade cross red to blue to steal away the blue from Spica and throw him off of the Skarner game. Spica is doing a red side level 3 clear though. He could actually throw a wrench in the works here and try and affect the bottom lane early as well. Try and worsen the situation for that kog'maw. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case, though. Just going for the full clear. And they even put a question mark down. They have a possibility, you know, an inkling that there might have been some sort of invade over on that side.
I love seeing the way Damonte's farming out that mid lane with a lot of the grass terrain, able to be invisible for the auto attacks from Bjergsen. And as Qiyana, your W basically covers all 4 of those fire totems on the outsides. You can grab water, you can grab ground, or the grass from basically the middle of the lane. It becomes really easy.
You got me thinking, what if you could grab fire from those little...
Take it and just get a burn.
What,
yeah, get a die.
what would your fire do? Yeah, probably
It's a dot, yeah, you just
true
light 'em on
damage
fire.
dot.
It's ignite.
There you go. Let's bring Draven early game back. That's what we want.
Please no.
All right, well, Scuttle Crabs have arrived, so we'll have the junglers probably trading top and bottom Scuttle Crabs. This is going to give security for both the teams where they want it. Clutch want Cody Sun and Vulcan to be unharassed, and he even gets off the Demolish proc. That's a huge amount early on in the game. It's basically half of a turret plate every time you're able to get a Demolish proc off, so that's very big for Vulcan there. They want to get that extra money funding the kog'maw early on. Meanwhile, talking about them splitting the map, Spica gets full reign on the top half, and they want to try and continue with the mind games with Huni and continue baiting him in. It did work fairly well in the last game.
Yeah, and this isn't warded, so Huni may...
He got tagged.
Flash here, yep.
A little too far into the turret. Did get his flash, though. Good summoner cooldown there to get for the side of TSM.
And now you need the jungler coming up to the top side if you're clutch. Because Huni, if you TP back into this lane, the lane is actually going to be freezing against you. You have to be able to shove it out. And to do that safely, I mean, he didn't actually know that Spica base. Spica could be in the bush right now, and then you're just dead.
Yeah, he even pinged out the ward there leading up on the rush. Spica has a lot of options, though, because it's a very good situation now for Skarner. You already blew the flash, then you recall to get your boots and your Predator. Predator down lane can be very effective. He's going down lane bottom side first, though, it looks like. Maybe they have a Braum jump in. They're actually pinging on bottom half of the map. Let's go down there because he's hovering behind Smoothie and Zven. Braum can jump to a minion and use that to get a Q off. Predator was actually used, though, and they don't go in for it. So you can see the cooldown on the boots there. No play.
And that is actually a really good kind of situation here from Clutch. You know, with that flash force, oftentimes the top laner is just zoned off the wave, right? It can be really bad. Huni basically just flipped the coin that the jungler wasn't going to be camping in the brush, and it came up his side. He was right, so he's able to clear that out, push it out, reset, and going to be in a pretty decent situation where that could have been very detrimental to his laning phase.
Yeah, your initial thought is that Predator gank is going top. Try and punish the flash that's not there. They're trying to play some mind games, maybe go to bottom to surprise them because Clutch would be thinking a similar thing. But in the end, Predator will go on cooldown, and I think it'll just be another clear of the jungle here. There are 2.5 minutes, by the way, on respawns for small camps. So now it should be a chain respawn and be an easy clear back to the top side for Spica. He can still end up there. You have a full 5 minutes to try and affect that flash.
And the start is so much better now. You know, when you compare to the last time we had this matchup up on the top side, you know, Huni in a much worse position. He had to start E level 1 because of the invade. That put him on the back foot for the very beginning. Then he has his flash force. So he was actually way ahead at this point in the game last time around because of that dive and the zoning off of all of that CS. The shoe is kind of on the other foot here now, as you know, Broken Blade is sitting pretty comfortably, and we'll see if Huni can try to create his own lead from this position.
Lira hovering down towards that bot side, but Spica also towards the top. Remember, the flash is down for another 2.5 minutes if they can get under him. Vanguard's edge to slow down, but also give him a charge to dash, but Huni did not dash fast enough, and he goes down to the hands of Spica.
Spica does make good on punishing that flashless Irelia. However, Clutch are taking something in response here, and the Dragon will be payment for the first blood money. Honestly, I do like getting that first blood money on top side. Irelia still is going to be without flash. Whoa, we're going to get chased through the jungle here. Damonte wants it. That's a Moby Boots Qiyana, and he knows the Skarner's still in here somewhere.
He has the water, so he's going to get a lockdown on whoever he hits, thinking it would be up towards the brush there. Nice chase, but did not find.
Nice to have a Qiyana with Moby Boots protecting your jungle, kind of running as a security guard through here to scare him off. But here's another look at it. Good start from Broken Blade. They know without the flash, there's no way to dodge it. So Infernal Chains lands, no escape possible for Huni. And they do get that killed. We'll see if the Cloud Drake ends up mattering for them. You know, if they do make use of that extra move speed early on in the game to try and get some gold.
Yeah, certainly could be helpful for Damonte. You know, you pointed out the Moby Boots. He's now going to have even more move speed to be getting out in those side lanes. And the Infernal Chains is honestly just perfectly placed because the only way to actually escape from it was running into the Skarner, right? Which guarantees your death either way. So credit to Spica and Broken Blade making something happen up on that top side. Now a slight advantage given over to TSM up there, and we'll see what they can do with this because you know, Huni has been so good throughout this series in the 1v1, and a lot of the reason that Clutch is able to kind of find the plays that they want, even from a deficit, is because of these side lane advantages. When we think back to the Irelia game, when we think back to the GP game when they were way behind, Huni is having an advantage in the 1v1, and that's opening up map positioning, opening up the ability for them to catch TSM in transition.
We see them have the Ezreal Tahm Kench bot. You know that lane's not going to win, so things have to happen on the other side of the map. Here, the kog'maw Tahm Kench, nice and easy to get that early buy-in as it's not too expensive. Xerxes into Dagger, feels good for kog'maw.
There is a small thing with timing right now, though. I would want a level 6 Skarner to immediately go Predator this Irelia again, but as you can see in the top right corner there, the flash is coming back off of cooldown. So they won't be able to continue to dig this deep hole for Huni, and he goes bottom again. Instead, he's spreading out his pressure here. I think these bottom visits are actually quite costly. A lot of the super effective, first blood part of that trade I was talking about with First Blood for Dragon is because you could continue to try and dig away at the top lane and try and build on that success, but not using that level 6 immediate Predator up there means Huni will not have flash. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, even if you don't kill him, but you push him out of lane without TP, that's very costly. That's plates going down. That's experience and gold lost from the minions as well. So, the rinse and repeat, often so effective. When you're trying to actually go down to bot side and gank a Tahm Kench who has flash exhaust, Cody Sun has his flash and TP, it's, unless they're way overextended, it's a wishful thinking.
Plus, you get the added benefit, it super tilts top laners when you camp them like that.
Oh, you just camping me? Want to cook some hot dogs? 200-300 gold in the favor of TSM.
The grab!
Oh! Got it. That's going to be Spica's. Nicely done as he smites that one away. And no, actually, Rift Herald does come up. So now they can't complain if he doesn't smite for it. He doesn't have it.
So now we got to check in, actually, on how this 2v2 is going to go with the kog'maw Tahm Kench. Because ThinkCard specifically called out, once he has Vamp Scepter, you have priority in the 2v2 forever, essentially. You can stat check your opponent, you're winning in that 2v2. So I'm going to be curious to see if they can utilize that pressure now to try to push out the Kaisa and get access to this Rift Herald, because it is TSM setting up in that area right now, but with both bot lanes up on that top side, whoever has 2v2 pressure is going to have the first in on the objective.
And we can see that in the map right now. Already, everybody is heading up for TSM to the Rift Herald. Huni does not have teleport on Irelia, so it looks like Clutch are making the call not to contest this time around, and they're actually seeding it. Because if Huni starts walking up now, it'll be a long time before he gets there.
He's got plates to take too, so that would be a decent trade.
Though.
All the plates and a turret is about equal to 4 kills if you get it yourself. He's not going to be doing that on the bot side. He's actually deciding what to do and missed quite a bit of what would have been gold.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. I think this was just a misexecution here from Clutch. If you want to contest, you have to be there way earlier than that. And if you can't contest, as you obviously couldn't, he could have probably knocked down 2 plates here, right? One plate is 1 auto away, he'll get that. But the second one is quite a big injection of gold.
How the turntables turn. Who's the Rift Herald team now, Azael?
I love you.
It's actually TSM who did it.
Oh, man. Where are they going to go from here? Map's kind of fizzled out a little bit with 17 seconds to the Cloud Drake, and that's really not going to pull priority out of anybody to get there fast. Maybe Damonte. He wants to go a little bit quicker as he's laced up his shoes this game with the Moby boots real early. The lanes have swapped, though. We will get those duos to the top side here as we're 12 minutes in. Love the dog mob. It's so good. I guess a pug mob.
Really? Can't say I'm a fan of that skin. It's a low-tier skin for me.
Used to be friends.
Yeah.
What about 3 versus 1 situations?
With a Vanguard's edge missed, and how about a Damonte? Supreme display of talent. Nicely done.
Damonte is definitely a fan of 3 versus 1 situation. Flashes in on the Qiyana. They are able to get the kill. Let's see what Clutch do with it. That's a mid-lane plate for Bjergsen and a Dragon number 2 for Clutch.
And more mobility going to be coming through. It's a second Cloud Dragon here, so they are going to be very, very quick moving around this map, which will make TSM have to play that much more carefully in those side lanes. And when you think about Corki, champion that loves to be out in the side lanes later on in the game, this does make it that much more difficult, knowing that you could get run down by some of these Clutch Gaming members.
Also, while the first step was completed by TSM, getting the Rift Herald, you also need to find an opportunity to use it before 14 minutes. So that comes from either tracking the enemy jungler, then using on the opposite side so you have an extra person there, or pulling off a pick and then allowing yourself to be in range of the turret plates when you want to cash in on that money. If you don't and that timing expires, then Clutch are much happier with their end of the bargain where they've got the double Cloud Drakes and you have the Rift Herald with no turret plate cash in.
And you can really just see the kind of priority that's being put for these two different teams, right? You look at this line of vision across here for Huni trying to protect that area. And then TSM, it's all about this top side kind of line of wards across the map. Both teams setting up on opposite sides trying to protect around where they want to play, right? TSM had the vision up on the top side, gets rid of Carol. Clutch has on the bottom side, is protecting Huni's split push and grabbing that dragon. And it will be this Rift Herald getting dropped, but 20 seconds till plates fall. I think he'll probably get up. Yeah, it should. It's going to get a charge.
Let's see if anyone's in range, because you have to be very close. Bjergsen's making a beeline for it. He's got the money.
He says thank you very much. Package as well for him. He's got the biscuits. See if he makes a trick happen. Going to be one more plate on that turret. It will fall without going down, but it does not matter. They got quite a bit of gold out of that. Equal money on the scoreboard along with kills and turrets. What a final game 5 to have as a start.
Yeah, certainly very, very close thus far. And like you called out, Kobe, that is a mistake we actually see in Pro a fair bit. People dropping the Rift Herald, but if you've not recently auto-attacked the Rift Herald and you're not quite close to the turret, no one gets the gold. That just gets thrown in the garbage. So Bjergsen, understanding this, moves up and essentially gets himself a full kill worth of gold.
Yeah, your general rule is you want to get as close as Shelly is when she's doing the charge to be able to be in range if you haven't autoed the turret, and you will get the payout. Let's see if this turns into anything on top side. TSM and Bjergsen are moving up there.
Glass cone separates Damonte. Vulcan doesn't want to be there anymore now, knowing he lost his partner in crime. Damonte should be able to guard the turret. Supreme display of talent seems to be up for him if he wants to fire back, but no backs against the walls for TSM. Looks like top will go down in favor of TSM as they're moving power in numbers right now to keep themselves safe.
Yeah, and Clutch had no play going on elsewhere to actually punish this, right? It's a 4-man move from TSM up on the top side. Huni was actually resetting during that time. And since they actually tried to move up and stop this, they're not even losing turret damage in the mid lane at the same time. Huni does now have a very good buy, though. Again, quick to that Triforce here, and is on the Executioners as well. So Huni going to be running that 1v1 if he can actually get some space to work. But he's not so far ahead that you can just bully Aatrox under a turret.
I think right now, Clutch need to have a very high priority on having Damonte roam with someone like Lira or Huni, trying to create a play there and get that pick off. He's got Moby Boots with double Cloud Drakes. Like, they are so fast right now. If they're able to rotate quickly to the side lane, you push the minion wave, then you move on over. Anybody in the game at this stage without a stopwatch, which is only Bjergsen right now, is definitely a viable target for that combination. There's just too much CC and burst damage. At level 11, you know, Qiyana getting that level 2 ultimate is a kill if they just catch you out anywhere near terrain.
Yeah, and I think we actually might see Damonte going for that sort of play. You know, he just has his stopwatch now, so he can look to play very aggressively, you know, set up pretty well for that. And yeah, that move speed is actually ridiculous, moving around the map.
Gotta love it. A little bit more passive speed, as you're saying, from everything else, along with the Cloud Drakes. Gotta go fast is the name of the game for him. And we saw him doing it before on the Nico to find very tricky spots to engage from. With that much speed, it won't be that much harder to find those openings to engage again.
It's interesting because the speed also makes it easier for them to run away from the Skarner. We just saw Predator popped from Spica looking for a pick on the Skarner. He does, you know, get his Spire here and get some control for TSM back around the Dragon that's about to spawn. 40 seconds on this Infernal, so they are setting up for the Infernal Dragon, try and put a stop to the Chain Dragons of Clutch. And they have a lot of good tools to work with here. Skarner probably wants the ultimate on the Tahm Kench and actually just draw him in. You can combine a Skarner and Braum very effectively in a team fight where Skarner pulls back the Tahm Kench and Braum jumps forward with the Unbreakable to section off the rest of the enemy team, allowing you to focus fire him down.
I do have to say, I really like how Cody Sun is actually using the Living Artillery to just be checking all these brushes and using that as that scouting tool. But TSM maybe going in here. Lira gets pulled back.
Stasis for him. Vanguard's edge kind of deters TSM. The fight's not really going to go through as we see the Fisher come back. And now the defense starts with a bit of offense from TSM. Lira trying to get out of this fight as Damonte and him are very, very low. Cody Sun really was not able to sit there and just throw off the damage.
Yeah, the damage is done to Damonte. He's got to go back to base. TSM have won the Dragon off of that skirmish.
Yeah, TSM's positioning was just so much better. Yep. You're trying to funnel through this slim corridor with Braum ultimate layered down, with Braum, you know, with the shield up, blocking a lot of the damage, and two marksmen standing behind him, able to fire on anyone who comes forward. So, you know, not a winnable fight really from that positioning that Clutch had, and TSM rightfully will grab that Infernal, and very likely this turret as well.
Huni.
Oh.
Ooh, getting the flash out of a 2v1 situation. They don't know what is behind Huni, so he kind of plays a mental game there with Bjergsen and Broken Blade and gets a good summoner.
Yeah, Huni is such an aggressive player. You never know Is he trying to 1v2 us right now? Because he could very well believe that he can take that 1v2 all by himself.
Is he baiting us, or is he baiting himself?
Or does he have teammates there? Right now he's got Damonte. Damonte's got his eyes on Bjergsen. Will they dive for this?
Oh, he sees that ward was just placed. That actually gives it away from Spica. Good call by Damonte to notice the timing on that one, as well as the Dust Blade, giving him a privy information. Quickly clears up the minions here. And what a slower paced game, but you can see the same intentions from each team. They're continuously in each other's face. They're not stopping these fights. They continue to test each other.
Yeah, and you can tell sometimes in these game fives, in these all-important games, teams become a little bit more passive. They're very nervous to actually be the ones to make that final mistake. You know, this is going to be one of those games, win or lose, that you remember for a very long time. And I do think you still have to maintain that killer instinct, especially when you are playing something like the Qiyana. You're facing over against the Corki. You don't want this Corki to just be chilling, farming, and trading farm with it. You got to make plays.
You're so right that mentality about they'll remember the game stays. I was just reading an article from Broken Blade that says there really isn't a day goes by when he doesn't think they should have won spring. So that mentality does stick. Becomes difficult. Obviously, he's not going to let him tear down any game. Broken Blade always playing to that top caliber, but it means a lot to get these victories when they count for these players.
Clutch trying to stall for time for Huni to finish up on the bottom tower. Broken Blade gets here in time, though. Both of them have teleports. The map is definitely balanced right now. They're just trying to finish out the resets here. What's Kaisa grabbing for Zven? Doesn't even have a completion.
Yeah, we do see the QSS coming through from Huni. And if you're looking to teamfight whatsoever, it's really a must-have for these melee champions. You're diving in onto the Skarner, so you have to have the ability to actually continually move around in these team fights. As that's so much of Irelia's survivability is actually dodging out of these fights.
Yeah, last time we saw Tahm Kench Devour being used on him to get him out of safety, but there are so many priority targets. Tahm Kench also has to be watching the Qiyana and the kog'maw, so they want to get at least one more answer out of them. Tahm Kench with a QSS, of course, means that Vulcan can be up there and devour somebody and being able to QSS himself if he's the target.
And you can take a look at this buy here from Bjergsen. He actually has the full chain vest. So I'm not sure if he's going to complete his GA right now or just sit on the chain vest stopwatch to be able to counteract the lethality that will be built up here by Damonte. But I think it's actually a very intelligent buy when you're looking at Irelia, Jarvan, and Qiyana. Those are three champions that are going to want to try to dive onto you and zero you out. And just having that chain vest alone really does mitigate such a tremendous amount of damage that even if he just goes into SV or IE or whatever from here, sitting on that is a great efficient buy.
Cody Sun gonna back. We'll see what he gets in his inventory. We do have a stacked up Mirror Mana now for the side of Zven. He's feeling pretty great. We'll have to see where they decide to go now. Huni's holding off on this turret. He knows it's a bit scary with that 6th sense down, but he's still gonna try to go in. Broken Blade doesn't seem to want it too much as he wants to get Huni off the turret before Spica comes in. They call out Spica as he's got aggro right away on this. Flag drag over the wall possibly. He's got the blast cone to do it, but Lira holds. As Clutch is being very tentative on their engages, knowing when they have aggression on the position.
Yeah, didn't have much of a way to kind of continue to follow up on that. And I do think that the game state is just favoring TSM more and more, right? They're sitting on the Infernal, they're scaling up their Corki, and it will be just sitting on the chain vest for Bjergsen as he picks up the call field. So he'll be going SMG per second here. So I think TSM are very comfortable with this passive play style. And Clutch, I feel like I have lost a little bit of their aggressive edge. You know, perhaps with so much on the line, not feeling confident to pull the trigger here. And you know, Damonte, you're sitting on Moby Boots as kind of this early mid-game style of champion that wants to be making things happen.
Well, I think this dragon is going to give us our answer here. They're trying to keep some vision on Baron while it takes place, but this is going to be the setup. There's already a lot of wards in place for Clutch this time around. Will TSM just brute force? Last time around, they move in, get the Skarner Spire is very important to start out with so that Spica can have that extra move speed. He grabs it now. Qiyana looking for the flank, though.
Oh, they're actually, I think, trying to set a trap here. Draw Broken Blade down to defend the turret and then kill him off if he comes here by himself.
Wait, when he wasted his stun, though.
Worth the CS. Hashtag worth. Getting out of Infernal Chains there. Dragon's going to be started up. This Mountain Drake will be your first of the game. 2 so far in Cloud in favor of Clutch. 1 Infernal for TSM. And the Dragon is started up.
They have a ward. TSM sees the Qiyana flank, so Broken Blade goes to head him off. They get the dragon.
Still looking for the engage. Glacial Fisher goes back. Flag and drag in. They're going to be on to Smoothie. He should go down in this fight as Bjergsen tries to fire in the balls from the outside on that. Vanguard's edge goes in. And Damonte and Huni and the rest of the team are going to try to do all the damage they can now to TSM. A great answer back by Zven with the killer instinct, the Cathian Rain. Lira beautifully cataclysms out of that to keep himself safe. Damonte on the stasis. He's going to be able to
Cody Sun!
grab the Terror. No, he doesn't have the Q up, and Cody Sun comes up big with the kog'maw.
Woo! It exploded with all summoners and all stopwatches used in that dragon fight. Everybody popping off, and Cody Sun flashing forward on the kog'maw is the winner of it all. Red buff, and he's gonna be able to take the tower. Here's another look how it started. Broken Blade flinked around and try and head off Damonte, but then Lira engages on the other side of it, past the Braum ultimate for the whole team. Smoothie is the first of the stopwatches, and he times it out, then flashes away, but Huni follows.
Yeah, Huni's going to be diving in. One of the critical things here, Cody Sun already had his Rage Blade stacked on the Dragon before the fight even started. So he sits back, he waits for that W cooldown to come back up, and then he knows, you're going for Damonte, I am going for you. Flashing in. kog'maw, unrivaled as far as pure damage output if you can free fire like that.
Yeah, Lira goes for the re-engage.
damage.
Damonte gets the snare there for him, but doing all the work from the back line. It's when your best defense is a good offense there. Everybody creating chaos in front of you, and the kog'maw just gets the auto and move on forward. Huni's got a stun from the brush, but there's a package.
Flawless duet in with the charge, and yeah, you're right, package, good call on that, Kobe. Quickly getting that passive out of Bjergsen, and they are off and running to protect this bot lane turret. It should go down with a few more shots here. Broken Blade and Bjergsen.
Yeah, a lot of TSM members were cheating down towards the bot lane. Even the bot lane duo was moving down there. And this is clutch on the top side of the map, having the opening. You have to respect kog'maw's Baron killing potential. With the Rage Blade, with the W, and a Mountain Dragon here, they can two-man that. So TSM has got to pay a lot of attention and not send too many members down to get Huni.
And there is still a stopwatch on Bjergsen here. He actually was able to flash away and never used the stopwatch in that last team fight. So while there isn't a lot of surprise factor, there still are a couple things that you really have to check inventory for this team fight, because this is the big one. Baron available to the victor. Clutch Gaming already with full vision control over the Baron, and TSM have to get something down.
They're going to start it. They're assuming that TSM is going to be sending members down to Huni. The blue trinket just expired. Spica's going to have to check this, and this is going down fast.
Huni's coming up from the bottom side of the map. The only one with flash right now is Vulcan from the fight last time. Spica has to Zanya's. Huni's going to be on the backside of the fight with Vanguard's edge. He's going in. The Quicksilver Sash is going to keep him alive for a little bit longer, and he does take down Spica. The rest of the team is going to, or Huni goes down, sorry, as Spica goes down, and the rest of the team is going to continue fighting as Smoothie falls quickly. Cody Sun's able to just put out so much DPS right now with the protection of the rest of the team. And Huni having the flank there really offset TSM.
Yeah, they can start Baron again potentially here. It looks like they're not comfortable to do it, but I mean, they have a lifesteal on Cody Sun, and it's 2 members down from TSM. But they are going to play this a little bit safer. Broken Blade has to be careful.
Coming back in, TSM doesn't want to give up too much ground on any of the minion waves, as they really need to do some ward duty here. They realize it as the fight went down in this area. It was a ward. It was a ward war, and it was a war of champions. We'll see it one more time right here.
Okay, so they turned on Spica. Lira uses everything to keep him in the Cataclysm. Meanwhile, there's 2 flanks here. Huni on the right, Damonte on the left, and it completely pulls the team apart, allowing Clutch to focus fire down both Smoothie and Spica in exchange for Huni's life, getting the 2-for-1. Meanwhile, Damonte drew Bjergsen and Broken Blade, both solo laners of TSM, off to the other side of it. That being said, it is a very small victory, only with an extra kill going over. So it's very much about the setup once again as they try and move into the river.
Yeah, one thing to note is the added TP advantage right now for Clutch. They do have that TP on Huni. Bjergsen will have to match him because his is up. Cody Sun's is available as well, but that is somewhat less impactful. I do love the Hurricane buy here. There are 3 melee champions on the side of TSM, and very, very effective. When you are actually hitting those Hurricane bolts on multiple members, you are going to be putting out insane damage, and Clutch can continue to just threaten to start up this Baron. TSM has to check it non-stop, knowing that it could just be shredded down.
Possible fight coming up
Nice
here.
poke.
Very good big bomb from Bjergsen there as he fires out a missile. You see him charging up just under his health. Void Seeker's coming out as well with a bit of the poke that can be offered here from the side of TSM. Now onto that middle turret. They're looking for an inhibitor next in the mid lane on the side of Clutch.
Yeah, the biggest value there is the poke onto Huni. Irelia needs full HP to be able to start this out. Huni does not have a stopwatch. He does not have anything to survive inside of that team fight. So with him at half health, Clutch Gaming cannot fight it, and TSM earned themselves a tower by poking him down.
You can see, though, TSM spending so much time actually grouped up that, despite the early laning phase going even, CS advantages are opening up quite a lot. Huni is spending time pushing out the side lane waves, while Broken Blade is often, grouping and then retreating to that side lane to try to defend the towers. So this is putting him more and more behind. We'll see if any sort of side lane advantage does eventually open up, but Damonte now laying a trap here for Broken Blade here. He's gonna face check.
Heading in, good stun up, a little bit of follow-up damage from the terrain. Oh, Cataclysm as well. They throw everything in the kitchen sink at Broken Blade.
Is this going to be the pick that turns around Baron? They've got full vision control. No top laner for TSM. No teleport on that top laner either. They've got to worry about checking this. 2 recalls for Clutch. They don't have a teleport on Damonte, but they've got a lot of movement speed on him.
Yeah, thankfully for them, TSM had some wards around this area that actually spotted the kog'maw. And as long as you see the kog'maw, you can pretty safely assume that they're not actually going for the Baron. Qiyana and the Irelia aren't great at actually knocking that down.
Yeah, kog'maw is the Baron killing damage here. See if they can get right back out and clear these control wards. Bottom side being pushed quickly by Huni. Once again, level 16 here. Huni, he's tied with Bjergsen basically. You're talking about the farm kind of differences. It's basically been top lane and mid lanes traded. TSM have been funneling their farm into Bjergsen here, whereas Qiyana's been roaming around looking for those plays, and Bjergsen is the level 16 hope for TSM on their side.
You can also see Cody Sun here going for a very aggressive build. He's actually working towards the IE on the kog'maw. A lot of times you'll see kind of this 3 core items, then people go a bit more defensive. He feels like with Vulcan behind him, having the QSS on that Tahm Kench, the exhaust on the Tahm Kench, he can go for maximum damage.
And not even trying to, he's the KDA player for Clutch. This is the guy that stays alive while going in with Killer Instinct, engaging with his arcane shift. So why not put him on the kog'maw, who has to stay alive in the fights? 402, a 700 gold bounty. We're going to be on to Baron.
Yeah, TSM has to start this because Irelia is unchecked on the bottom side. Is Huni not going to TP?
Lira over the wall once again to possibly get that. Glacial Fisher comes out. Cody can sit in the back. He did just lose his support though. His
Here's
comes up with a kill. Damonte on the right side.
Whipped.
That's going to whiff the ultimate. And now they have to go back in. A good kill coming in. 1-2 now on the side of Clutch. Cody's able to get some space. There's another one coming in on the Broken Blade. It's Zven running for the hills, but it's not going to be enough. Clutch Gaming almost wiped TSM at Baron.
Spica's the only hope. He's got flash on Skarner. Can he go steal this one
Oh
before?
my God, he has to be the hero. Is he going? Oh, he tries it. You can't fault him for it. But Lira comes up with the smite.
Kobe just had a heart attack there.
That has happened to me so many times.
You're like, not again. You're not in the game. Kobe, you're okay, bud.
All right,
But
guys,
here it is.
Again.
Yeah, this is all about Cody Sun. It's a great turn here onto Vulcan. Vulcan just gets shredded. Damonte whiffed the ult here as well, but who cares? kog'maw's unchecked. Look at him just shredding through the Hurricane Bolts coming out. You give him about 2 seconds free firing on those carries, and they are wiped from the map. Cody Sun, absurdly strong right now, and he has been the hero here. And this is it one more time. Spica flashing in.
It's in there.
Oh.
It was 4:35 I saw, so that could have been either
That was
one.
close.
Oh man, that is a clincher, but Clutch Gaming, Game 5, they are on the inhibitor turret.
They got the Baron minions, so the other ones aren't going to get too close as that siege is clapping down on the damage. Broken Blade trying to get in for a few more hits with World Enderon. Vanguard's Edge is going to stop TSM from
Because
getting
so low.
it. This is their base getting taken apart now. Inhibitor's definitely going down, and it's Clutch inside the base looking to make dreams come true.
And they're pushing bot lane as well. They're going to look for a second inhibitor here. It was a split call. Broken Blade wanted to go in because the Infernal Chains pulled back Cody Sun and he had no flash, but they couldn't get through the Vanguard's Edge there from Huni. And Clutch now are one fight away from Worlds.
TSM on the front steps. They won't give him for free, and they will push Clutch off just a little bit. You do have a minute and a Mountain Drake, but you don't want to lose this pressure just for a Drake.
The #1 problem TSM have to solve how are they going to deal with this kog'maw? Nobody can get back there. The turret's going down.
Already onto Broken Blade, 3 or 4 shots from Bio Arcane Barrage. That's the W. 8 seconds up, 8 seconds down, a 16-second cooldown. It almost seems like he has it all the time since he uses it through that cooldown. And Cody Sun is making damn good use of his damage in every fight on the targets he needs to. 13-6, your second inhibitor is broken in TSM's base by Clutch. As they may stay for the final touches, there's 3 kills. It's gonna be TSM going down. The first Nexus turret is gonna be in Clutch's eyes. A second year that they will miss it. Damonte already out of his seat. And North America, put your hands together for your final Worlds representative, Clutch Gaming.
They will clean it up. Clutch make the reverse sweep happen here in the gauntlet. They are headed to Europe, and they are ecstatic.
What a game from both teams. The reverse sweep has been completed by Clutch. A tough fashion that they did it in. The only other team now to make it through 2 Worlds, through the regional qualifier besides Cloud9. A lot of firsts for this team, and a lot of high fives down the line for this Clutch Gaming team.
Huni, the first player to make Worlds in 3 different regions. He made it in Europe, he made it in Korea. Now finally, Huni has accomplished that goal of making Worlds in North America. People thought it would have happened years ago with him on Immortals, so dominant, but it comes from the unlikeliest of teams. It comes from this Clutch Gaming team that was counted out so many times and has battled back and improved week in, week out to just barely scrape by TSM here.
And I think everybody deserves a nod for Clutch. Look at how much it means to Lira around hugging the rest of his teammates, the camaraderie right now, and everything that this squad went through in staff changes throughout the season to find what they needed now to be on the world stage.
The emotion on both sides of the field here. Everybody pouring their hearts out into this series.
Absolutely devastating for TSM. Fought their hearts out. You can see the improvement that they had over these past weeks of practice. Certainly a tighter series here against Clutch, but just not quite enough from TSM.
Clutch had what a run through the regional qualifier, having to get a victory in every game, showing each team what they were capable of and still able to pull out all the stops. I got to give a lot of props to, as I said, everyone. Cody Sun bringing out multiple champions when the team needs something different, but everybody able to organize around a different champion in the moment. That's actually hard for a team to do. You can put something else in, but people have to know how to play around it.
And they have played in a lot of high-pressure situations now. You talked about the practice earlier on playoff stage, Riv.
Yeah.
This team is putting it into overdrive and definitely putting overtime in.
And they're going to have a lot more games to play because they'll be going to play-ins at Worlds. So they're going to have all of that ramp up as well, you know, and we'll get to see how they perform there and how much they can learn and grow, you know, when playing against some of these other teams from around the world.
A fantastic play all around. We'll have an interview with the players shortly, obviously, to see what their thoughts are, thoughts from the State Farm analyst desk. But to recap the series, to get a best of 5 out of this, when the reverse sweep is what happened before, Clutch wanted that revenge, and it's absolutely amazing to see all that come to fruition here today in a Game 5 for us. For more on how he booked his first trip to Worlds, obviously,